This week, Biden gave amnesty to 500,000 illegals and said it's going to make us all rich. Biden wants to give his 10 million migrants your job so he can say he saved the economy. Mayorkas agrees.
So many have contributed so significantly to the well-being of our country in terms of local communities, our national economy. We need people who are willing to work hard, to serve on the front lines, like so many of the dreamers have done for so many years.
There are only two groups of people making money off migrants: Biden's donors and the cartel. Biden pretended he shut down the border with some phony executive order, and the smugglers are laughing all the way to the bank. Watch.
Smugglers are boasting nothing at the border has changed. This smuggler advertising on WhatsApp his menu of available routes for migrants to cross illegally into the U.S.
It's a gold rush for the cartels. They're getting filthy rich by hand-delivering criminals into our country. And when we report on migrant crime, like an illegal raping a 13-year-old, MSNBC says we're fear-mongering.
Here's the three cable networks reporting of this. Our banner said, soon Biden announces legal protections for undocumented spouses of U.S. citizens. CNN's banner said, Biden announces new protections for some undocumented spouses. Here was Fox's banner, migrant arrested for raping 13-year-old in New York City.
Yes.
And so I think that's part of the problem, right?
Exactly.
Is that you have
That's
a lot
part
of
the
fear-mongering.
Exactly.
The problem? If Fox hadn't covered the rape when the illegal was on the lam, those good Samaritans wouldn't have been alerted and apprehended him. Does Joy Reid want guys like this in her city?
He approached the young couple, two 13-year-old kids, tied them up, put a gag in their mouth, raped the young woman, and asked them to stay there for 20 minutes while he, I guess, left.
News anchors do a public service when we report criminal activity, especially when that criminal activity is the result of dangerous policies that informed voters can change in a democracy. Just because sanctuary cities don't report migrant crime, we still see it all the time. Things didn't used to be this way. Trump grew up near the park where the girl was attacked.
You know that area in Queens? I said that's where I grew up. I grew up right near that area. It was unthinkable. My parents, I'd go to the park. It was like 20 blocks away. I'd take a bicycle ride there. Nobody thought anything was going to happen. I did that for years. Played baseball and different things in the park. And you'd ride and you'd come back home. Mother would say, "Hi, darling, would you like something to eat?" Today, if you let your kid out of the house for 5 minutes, the kid is gone.
Lake and Riley in Georgia, Rachel Morin in Maryland, and now this 13-year-old girl in Queens. The long list of migrant crime victims is growing by the day. Fox isn't causing fear. Joe Biden is. Anthony Rubin's the founder of Muckraker.com. Anthony, they're now saying we need open borders for the money.
Right. Well, it's all propaganda with these people. It's all smoke and mirrors. It's all to hide the truth. I mean, the truth is that this is an agenda. This is Agenda 2030. This is part of a larger framework to usher in millions upon millions of people into the United States for political reasons, to permanently change the demographics of America and, have a permanent underclass and a Democrat majority for the rest of American history.
And they're saying it's just the cost of doing business when a teen's raped. First, they said there was no such thing as migrant crime. And now they say, oh, well, there is, but you can't report it because if you do, you're a fearmonger.
Right. Again, total propaganda. I've been down to the border. I've taken the whole caravan trail, as you know, and the types of men that you see along these routes, very unfriendly people from countries all over the world, all tatted up. Clearly some people that are not tatted up and have nefarious intent hiding their face. I can only imagine who's in this country. It's truly terrifying.
It is terrifying. Also, we have, I believe, 85,000 migrant kids Biden lost. No idea where they went. Totally gone. I know you're working on an investigation of this issue. Here's a little clip. Watch.
Okay, so right now we are looking for some of the 85,000 unaccompanied alien children that have gone missing under the Biden administration. This is one of thousands of addresses that we have been provided by a government insider. Allegedly, 2 children were delivered to a sponsor that lives at this address. But as you can see, nobody lives here, and honestly, it doesn't look like anybody's lived here in quite a long time.
That's scary. What the hell's going on there?
Right. So we were given a list of about 8,500 names of children who were delivered all across the country as part of the unaccompanied alien children program under the Biden administration. And we have the names and the addresses where these children were delivered to. And so we went out in New York and we started knocking on some doors. That particular house, as you can see, has been long abandoned. Nobody's there. Nobody knows where the kids who were delivered there are now. And there were plenty of other places that we visited, the projects in Brooklyn, in Wyandanch, in Queens. Places where, I mean, you couldn't even imagine children being sent there, where we knocked on the door and they told us horror stories. Some of these children told us stories about how their friends have gone missing. Their friends were crying to them when they were being held in these compounds before they were sent to their sponsor, crying, saying, I don't know where I'm going to be delivered. I don't know where I'm going. And then some children told us that there are children in these facilities who say, listen, I just want to go home. Send me back to Honduras or El Salvador. And the Biden administration, under current policy, says, absolutely not. You're with us now and you're being sent to a sponsor, even if that sponsor is unknown.
It's the scariest thing ever. I can't even imagine what that's like for those children. This is a human trafficking operation. How complicit is our government in this?
If it wasn't for the policies of the Biden administration, many of these children could be sent back home. A lot of this would be non-existent. But, I mean, of course, the fact that we have a wide open border is the cause of all this. So if you want to nip this at the bud, you have to close down the border. But so long as that remains open, you know, they'll continue to talk about Trump putting children in cages. But right now what's going on is a massive, perhaps the biggest child trafficking operation in the history of the world. It's that massive.
In the history of the world. Think about that. That is just crazy. Anthony, great work at Muckraker. We'll stay on it. Thanks for coming on. Click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You won't get it anywhere else.